Hey guys, here today showing you how to replace the spark plugs on a Honda J engine, J series engine. This car that I'm working on is a 2007 Honda Pilot. This is a J35 A6 engine. This will also apply to the J32 engines as well as probably the new J37 engines that are in the newer Hondas and Acuras. Pretty much any J series, you'll know it's a J series. It has this flat type of intake manifold with the two plenums that go around like a U like this that you see. It'll work. The process is similar for all the J series. So that will be the Honda Pilots, Honda Odysseys, Acura TLs, like the earlier 2000 Acura CLs. No, I'm forgetting another one. Oh, and the V6 Honda Accords. They'll all have an engine that's similar to this. So the spark plugs are not necessarily hard to do, especially the front three coil packs right here. These three are easy to get to. The back ones are behind this here wiring harness. If you reach around, you'll feel them. I can't really get the camera back there, but they're in the same position as these, just on the back side. I did take off the engine cover already, which is sitting right here on the ground. You can take it off by twisting these little things right here. They just turn a quarter turn. That's locked. Up is unlocked. You should be able to turn them by hand, but if you can't, there's a little provision there to stick a flathead screwdriver in. Or you can just grab the whole thing with a set of pliers and twist it. Then you'll just lift it straight up off of the engine like so. But I went on ahead and got NGK spark plugs. Just the OE said they take iridium spark plugs. The gap will be 44 thousandths. Most spark plugs come pre-gapped already, but you never know what happens in the manufacturing process. I just like to double check them before I stick them in, which I have done so. You'll only need pretty much you'll need a 5/8 socket, spark plug socket. You'll probably, if you see in my other videos, I tell you guys to tape this socket to this extension when it comes time to reinstall the spark plugs, because a lot of times when you reinstall the new spark plugs, this spark, when you go to, when you tighten it up and you go to pull this out of the cylinder or the spark plug tube, this guy will stay stuck on the spark plug. To avoid that, take electrical tape is what I use, and tape this to this. It doesn't have to be a lot of tape, just a little bit to make sure that this comes off when you go to pull it off. Otherwise you will have a bit of a problem on your hands there trying to get this socket out. But nonetheless, you'll need 5/8. I use this flathead screwdriver to do those guys like I told you. I have a short extension, 3/8 extension. I don't know if I'm going to use it or not yet, but I just have it here. You will need a 3/8 ratchet, and you'll also need a 6mm Allen socket like this one. Sorry, the camera's not focusing on it, but the bolts to take these off, as you can see, I don't know if you can see very well, the bolt right there that's holding on the coil pack, that little circle deal right there, is actually an Allen. So this guy right here, it takes an Allen. It's not like I thought it was going to be a 10mm, but it's actually an Allen. So that's probably the only tool you will have to buy if you don't have one. But yeah, let's just get right into it. Okay, so I'm going to work on the front three, and then I won't be able to really show you how to do the back three, but they're just going to be right behind this here wiring harness. It's the same process as taking off these. You undo the clips. There's clips that go into the coil pack. You simply there's a little tab here that's on the front. You'll pinch it like this and lift the connector off. Do be careful, because these are probably old and brittle by now. If you find that you can't get this clip to disengage, push down on the connector, push it down into the coil pack, then push the clip, and then it should come off in most cases. If you find you can't get it off still, grab a pair of like long needle nose pliers and come in from the top of the connector if you can, and just pinch it like that to raise it up. But you'll do these on the same on the back three. Disconnect all of the connectors from the coil packs, and then you can just kind of just set the connectors to the side out of your way, and then you'll go on ahead and grab the 6mm Allen and loosen up all the bolts that hold on the coil packs. Just loosen them all up and take them all out. Okay, then you got the bolt. Just remove all the bolts, and then we can go on ahead and pull the coil packs out. Okay, after you got all the bolts out, you're just going ahead and gently just twist the coil pack a little bit, just move it around just so it gets loose. And then you can just pull the coil pack straight out. It may take some maneuvering around the fan. The back ones should just be able to come straight out, but you just pull them straight out and set them down. It doesn't matter if you accidentally mix these up or set them down out of order. If you can manage to get them all back in the same where they came from, that's fine. If you cannot and you forget, don't worry about it, because they are all exactly the same. So just pull all three of these out and set them down. Okay, now what you want to do is grab your 5/8 spark plug socket and fit it down into the hole. You might actually have to stick the spark plug socket down into the hole first, and then come in with the extension, and then you should be able to loosen them up. So we're going ahead and loosen up and remove all of the spark plugs. Okay, so what you may find out if you're using a 6-inch extension, which you're probably going to have to use, is that when you go to pull out the spark plug to get the old one out, at least right here on this front part, probably for all of these, the fan's going to be in the way. It doesn't make sense to remove the fan. So what I suggest using, if you can, is if you have a magnet like this, just a regular magnet, get yourself a magnet if you can. Pull this extension up just enough to where you can disengage the spark plug socket. There, I took the spark plug socket off, and I just let the spark plug socket fall back down into the hole. And then you can just use the magnet to get the spark plug out. You can see I use a magnet to get the socket back out, and I'm gonna use a magnet to get the spark plug out. And there is the spark plug, just like so. So a magnet might be helpful, but this is the first spark plug out. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull out these front three right here, and then I'll get back to you in a minute. I would also like to say, alternatively, if you don't have a magnet but you do have like a wobble joint or a universal little joint, you can use a 3-inch extension attached to the spark plug socket, and then you can attach the wobble joint to that 3-inch extension, just like I have here. This is the wobble right here going into here, and then I just use a 6-inch here on top. That will enable you to loosen up the spark plug, and you should be able to pull everything out without having to disconnect anything. I used the magnet method on the first one, but this way also works in case you don't have a magnet. Okay, I got all these 3 spark plugs here removed, and I got the new plugs ready to go in. Like I said, I got the NGK laser iridiums. They're pretty pricey, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and stick on, I'm gonna put a little bit, a tiny bit of copper on the threads, or you can use anti-seize. I just use this so there's a nice good seal and they don't tend to get stuck later on. So yeah, you can go ahead and just stick these back into place, torque them down. You don't want to torque them too much, otherwise you can risk stripping the cylinder head threads. You'll feel it when it stops. They usually pretty much just bottom out. Some people actually do tend to stop a little bit too early because this crush washer right here kind of gives like a false reading. You think you have it all the way tightened, but then sometimes you don't. But just keep in mind, if it's getting to be where it's stopping, then just stop. Don't tighten it anymore. Otherwise you'll damage the threads inside there. You'll always want to, I'm just going to stick these down in here, stick them all down in the spark plug tubes. Then I'll get the socket, and you want to start them by hand. Don't start them with the wrench because you can cross thread them. So just get them all in there, start them all by hand, and then you can go on ahead and tighten them all up. You got all these spark plugs back reinstalled into the front. You can go on ahead and put the coil packs back into place. You simply take them and slide them back on. If you guys would like to use dielectric grease, you can go ahead and stick a little bit in here now and put them on. I've already put some into these. Sorry I did it off camera, but it's just a little bit of grease. Just helps give a good contact between the tip of the spark plug and the coil pack. So you don't need to put a whole lot, just a little bit in here, and then you can go ahead and slide the coil packs back into place. Okay, after you slide those all into place, get the bolts, the Allen head bolts, and hand tighten them, and then go ahead and tighten them up completely. You're going to use a 6mm socket, Allen socket, and tighten these back up. Just snug them up a little bit with the wrench. Don't tighten these very hard at all. Then you go on ahead and reconnect the connectors. Make sure that they clip back into place. And there you'll have the front side done. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I can't get a camera in the back of the motor. I did show you the front ones so that you will know how to do the back ones, and I've already told you where they will be at. So I'm just going to leave it at this 3 here. If you guys get these off, no problem. The back ones are exactly the same. So I'm just going to leave you to do those on your own. I did want to show you these front ones though, so that way you have an idea of what to expect when you reach around to the back. As I said, they're not hard to get to. You can clearly see them. But it's just hard for me to get a camera angle back there. And I figure that, you know, you already know what to do since I've done these front three. But pretty much do the same on the back. Get the new ones torqued in there. And then you can go on ahead and reinstall the cover back onto the engine and twist the little clips that hold it into place. And make sure you start it up and see how it is. It should be fine. If you do have any comments or questions, please ask them in the comment section below. I will be making a couple other videos on this particular engine. Well, this particular car, in particular the air filter assembly. I'll be replacing just the air filter. Pretty easy, pretty simple, but some people, you know, still don't know how to do that, and that's all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a video on that. And then this car also has a check engine light for a bad O2 sensor, so be on the lookout for that video as well. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. Hit the like button if this helped you out, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. All right guys, thanks very much.